And for our final guest speaker, we have Lindy Smith. She's one of our academic skills coordinators, and she's worked all throughout the university in different departments such as like teaching and our learning center and our student mental health services. So, put it for Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. Well, thank you so much. I just want to say I completely agree with all of the great advice Osama and Professor McMillan gave. So I'm just going to sort of touch a little bit upon the time management piece and show you a couple things. So I'm going to share my screen. Alex, do you have to unshare yours, or can I just share mine right away?
I think
you have to stop sharing, and then I'm going to share.
Yeah, 1 second.
Thank you so much. Okay, great. So let me just open this up. Okay, can everyone see that? Yeah? Okay, great. So as Alex mentioned, my name is Lindsay Smith. I am the Academic Skills Coordinator at the Student Learning Center. So essentially what I do in my role is I develop and coordinate large-scale retention and transition programs. So one of those programs that some of you might be familiar with, and I'm referring to the students that are coming into Ontario Tech this September for the first time, is the My Start program. So I just wanted to let you know, if you haven't checked it out, you need to register for your courses first, and you'll have access to My Start, which is in Canvas. So it's actually, we took our entire, what was our in-person academic transition program, and we moved it all online. So it's great if you haven't checked it out yet. There's an asynchronous component where you can work through your faculty-specific module, but then we're doing live workshops. We've been doing them since July. We even offer evening workshops as well. So check some of those out. I just wanted to let you know, I know for some of the upper year students, you may have heard about the Student Learning Center. I just want to let you know about some of the services that we have, especially for those entering Ontario Tech this September. So although I'm part of Student Learning Center, I come from an umbrella of the student life. So we have student life, and under student life, there's career services, there's student accessibility services, there's student mental health services, and there's student equity and engagement. So basically all of those services, you're already paying for them. They're built into your tuition. So please, please use them if you need them, and use them right away. Don't wait till, you know, final exam time to reach out for tutoring. When you need that support, you reach out, because we are here for you. Pretty much all of the services that we were offering in person, we've just moved them online. So for example, our mental health counselors are doing online counseling. You can do it on the phone or on Skype, and same with our services. So just to let you know what Student Learning Center does, we offer workshops in a lot of different areas like physics, engineering, math, writing, and the STRIDE program, which is study skills workshops. So we offer a ton of different workshops. We typically have in-person learning communities, which were drop-in spaces like physics space, the writing room, math study hall at Chem Corner. We are trying to turn those into an online type of drop-in space. So we've opened up a ton of different appointments for that support. We have peer tutors, who are upper year trained tutors who have gotten an A in a course, and they can tutor you one-on-one virtually coming into September. We have past leaders. We're still running our past program in September. So we have I think there's about 10 of them. They pick the top really difficult courses, and we offer past sessions. So a past session is where, I'm going to use an example, say Calculus 1010. It can be a bit of a challenging course. So we will have an upper year student who already took the course, got the A in the course, and actually goes to class with you. And then they provide supplemental instruction. So if you have class Tuesdays and Thursdays in Calc 1010, they are going to offer that supplemental instruction on the Tuesday or Wednesday, the very next day, and they're going to review what's in that lecture. They don't keep focusing on what was happening weeks ago. They actually follow along with your course. So if you learn something on Tuesday, that next past session is going to be what you learned. And it's really cool because it's very interactive, and they'll work through a lot of the problems. You can raise your hand, meet a ton of new friends, and we're doing it all virtually. And lastly, there's just like a ton of one-on-one support. So whether it's with a specialist or a peer tutor, we are there to help you. Again, if I miss anything in the chat box, I'll look after. My screen's a little funny because I'm sharing a PowerPoint. I just want to touch upon the time management piece, in which, again, Professor McMillan and Osama really mentioned a lot of things I was going to say. So I am going to quickly go through this. So there is quite a difference between in-person learning and online learning. So in person, it's definitely much more structured. You're getting that face-to-face connection, which Professor McMillan said he missed, and as well I do. In-person office hours, networking opportunities for sure. We always say, like, go introduce yourself to your professor. Like, walk up and greet them and say hello. Make sure, sit at the front of the class. So online, you won't totally have that opportunity, but I'll tell you some good news after about the online area. And I know in person, it gives you a really strong sense of belonging and a sense of community. But with online, there is some pros. So there is going to be offering synchronous and asynchronous sessions. So Professor McMillan actually already said that. So some courses are going to be pre-recorded lectures, and you're going to be able to watch them at any time you want. And I'm going to give you a couple tips on how to handle that. And then there's going to be synchronous sessions where you have to show up at 10 a.m. to watch a live lecture. The great thing is you can study anywhere, log in from anywhere. I know I've seen people at their cottages working, in New Brunswick working, so you're able to kind of be anywhere and still do your schoolwork. There's no commute, which I personally love. Work well, hopefully, while attending school, so maybe you can work a little bit more in the day now that you have some flexibility, and hopefully just a better work-school-home life balance. So I want to give you a couple quick tips for online learning. So I'm hoping that you're going to treat your online course the same as you would your in-person course. And I know some of you are coming from maybe high school or college, or maybe you've been in the workforce for a while. What I mean by that is basically what Osama and Professor McMillan were saying, is like to create a routine, create a study schedule, and anytime you have, this is probably one of my favorite little sort of tips about this, if you have an asynchronous course, meaning that your professors pre-recorded the lecture, if you can, please try to watch it at the same time every week. I will tell you, when COVID hit, the one thing I noticed was a lot of my students were coming to me saying they're behind 8 lectures. Can you imagine watching hours and hours and hours of lectures trying to catch up? It can be a little bit overwhelming. So I would say really do your best to keep up and schedule those asynchronous courses at the same time and keep that really nice routine going. Creating daily to-do lists can be really important. I'm going to show you a couple quick examples of templates of that in a minute. This was touched upon: create a clean, organized, and quiet study space. So if you live with a bunch of people, if you have children like I do, if you have roommates working at the kitchen table and dining room table, it was not working for me. I got thrown up into the upstairs hallway. So create a space that's going to work for you. I would say a common thing from upper year students that they tell me is that if they study in bed, I'm like, what happens? And they say they fall asleep. If you consistently fall asleep in bed, please don't study in bed. Like, try to make some sort of like clean desk space for you, and that's always where you're going to be, where you watch your lectures and you do your homework and you're studying. Taking breaks, I wanted to mention this. This is more important now that we are in an online environment. I'm not sure if any of you have noticed this, but there's so many articles coming out saying that now that we're on these Zoom calls and you're going to be in class 15 hours a week online, it's actually becoming a lot more draining for us. And because we're looking at all of our little webcams and we're noticing all the things people are doing, and like one person's drinking their tea and they're walking away, and it's very visually distracting and mentally draining. So please take your breaks after your classes. And again, same with studying. You're still going to obviously integrate some breaks into your studying, but I really think it's so important now that we're in an online environment. Sorry, I'm talking quite quickly. I just have quite a few things I want to get through in 10 minutes. Embrace technology. I won't go too much into this. I really felt like Professor McMillan touched upon this perfectly. I had to use Canvas, which is going to be your learning management software system in September. So all your courses are going to be on there, and you will be checking that like 5 times a day. And if you're not, try to keep checking it often as much as you can. I will tell you, I never used Canvas in my life, and I had to develop and launch an entire orientation program on it in 8 weeks. And I did feel overwhelmed at first, and now I feel like a little bit of an expert. I was helping other people with it. So as much as you can, calm your nerves about technology. Practice before school starts if you feel you need to, because I really think that makes such a difference in adapting to university in this online environment. So find your learning community. So again, this has already been touched upon, but I completely agree. I think it's so important to form study groups. I saw you all posting your Instagram handles. I've been doing workshops for the My Start program, and I got them to exchange them, and now there's a huge nursing group now that they've created for study groups. So there's many ways to find a learning community in that sense of belonging. So whether it's going to your virtual office hours, so many professors and TAs are still there to support you, just the same as they were in person, except it's just virtual. So please reach out to your professor if you need support and help. Again, reaching out to your peers, whether you post it in a discussion board or try to email it to some of your peers in your class and say, who wants to form a study group? I'm telling you, there will be the virtual hands raised. They will want to join that with you. One of the best ways to retain information is teaching others. So please create those study groups and teach each other the information. It's going to help best prepare you for those midterms and finals. Same way you can create those study groups. And like I said, we are going to still offer our learning communities and sort of those interactive supports. So join us at PASS, join us at the workshops. You're meeting people in your same program, and a lot of the times they're in the same year. So check that out. Participate on the discussion board. So every course will have a discussion board, whether there's grades associated with using this discussion board or not, and assignments, that's different for every professor. I just wanted to say that it's really great to be engaged in those discussion boards. So check those out and participate. And I already talked a little bit about a routine, so I'm going to skip over that. So time management, I think it is one of the keys to success in university. So I actually am going to share on the chat group in a minute when I can get back to the Zoom feature. I'm like Professor McMillan, I've never used Zoom before. I'm used to Google Meets and Kaltura. So when I get back to the screen, I'm going to post a link in the chat box, and it's actually a time management quiz. And I really like it. It's super easy and really quick. And so I will share the link with you, and I want you to just be really self-aware. So what are you doing to stay organized? What are you using right now? And if what you were using in high school wasn't working, and by that, I mean, if you were using your phone calendar and you never checked your phone calendar, don't use your phone calendar. Try something different this year. If you have to go to the dollar store, I found really good ones for $3 and get yourself an actual hard copy agenda. Or if you want to use Google Calendar, which I love, you can color code it. You can see month, day, view, hour, and it syncs with your ontariotech.net email. I highly recommend using that. So the quiz is a great way to see where am I at? Really to be self-aware of what's working, what's not. And I love this quiz because each question gives you some, if you scored low on question 2, it kind of gives you some tips on what that question was leading towards, whether it's goal setting or prioritizing or time management. So I will share that quiz in a minute. I just can't get back to the chat box right now because I'm stuck in my PowerPoint. Okay, last couple of things here. Please, Mal, cut me off if I'm rambling or taking up too much time. So taking action. There's a couple of things I really want you to think about when you're entering school this September in this online environment. This was actually talked about by both Osama and Professor McMillan. Create a study plan. I'm actually going to show you a quick sample of one. Anyone entering university and doing the My Start course, you can create your own study plan and submit it online, and I can actually give you feedback through the My Start course. And then if you want, if there's students who are not in that and you're entering in your upper years, in September, October, and November, always in the first 3 months of the semester, we offer a workshop called Managing Me. It's literally a workshop on how to create a study plan. Please join us. It's all through the Student Life portal, and I can share that link in a minute. Creating task lists can be really helpful. I'm going to share a quick sample of that in a second. Virtual Post-it notes. This is, again, a free app. So lots of my upper year students love to use those virtual color-coded those Post-it notes on your desktop screen. So green can be for biology, blue is physics, and they'll put all their due dates and they can cross up what they've done and keep a to-do list for each course. So I think it's a great way to stay organized, and I know a lot of successful students really like using the virtual Post-it notes. The Pomodoro Technique, I'm going to show you that really quick lastly, and then I wanted to mention the reminders. Many students love to set reminders on their phone, and then I ask them, how's it going? And they say they ignore it. We live in an age of technology where they swipe that away and they don't even look. So what I would say is your reminders are great, but maybe set them for like your midterms, your finals, and like maybe due dates. Don't set them for like every class and every little thing that you're going to do. Maybe limit it to the super important things that you can't miss. Okay, so here is a sample of a typical study plan for a social science student. I know you're all coming from different areas. This follows the same principle, but what I'll say is that every study plan looks a little different because you're all a little different. You all have your own things going on in your life. And everyone prioritizes things a little bit differently. I just wanted to give you a quick idea of what this would look like and how you can modify it to suit yourself. We used a Google Calendar create this for a downtown social science student. So always though, I would say color code all of your classes. So this one we did intro to psych in red, sociology yellow, that kind of thing. This student happens to work 2 days a week. You'll see it on I think it's the Thursday and the Saturday, they work, and we color-coded work hours. This student prioritizes the gym. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they go every morning, so we put that in a different color. They happen to color-code all of their study time in blue. You can color-code your study time in matching corresponding to the lecture, so if you wanted on that Monday, instead of having the 3 to 5 psych study in blue, you could have had that in red to match your course. Color-coding can visually give you a really nice idea of what you have to do every week. This is called a fixed commitment schedule though. You're not gonna add in work hours if you never know when you're gonna work. If you work really random hours, or if you're going to a party, well, I guess we wouldn't go to a party in COVID. That was a horrid example. But if you had to go somewhere that was a socially distanced approved type of thing, I wouldn't want you adding that into your fixed commitment schedule. This is really something that you wanna do every single week and keep a really nice clean routine to. Someone asked when you should wake up. I do have students that actually put their sleep schedule in here and their break schedule. You can make this as full and as busy as you want, or as clean and like not have as many details. So that's a super quick overview of a study plan, but there's a ton of support. I can meet with you one-on-one. I would suggest like the first or second week of school, really creating one of these. I can meet you one-on-one to create it. Like I said, anyone coming into first year can use the course and submit it, or join us for a workshop. Okay, last few things, I swear, and I'm almost done. Okay, task lists. These are some super simple examples of nice ways to stay organized. So this one is a task list where they're going to list the task or like assignments that they have due. So this is a little chart. So this person they create their group for a business presentation, go to professor office hours to review midterm marks, and clean apartment. They rank these by priority of high, medium, low. We always say that you should be crossing off or checking off things that you've done. It's positive reinforcement. It is good for motivation, and it helps avoid procrastination. Time management, like creating a study plan, helps avoid procrastination. So feel free, put in the chat box if you're a procrastinator, because I know this is like, you're not alone. Most people, in my opinion, are procrastinators. There's just different levels of us. So these are great ways to avoid that, okay? Second last thing here. Assignment task list. So this is a different version of it. This is like specifically listing one assignment. This would be a psychology paper. I was a psych major, if you can't tell. It's my comfort zone. If I tried to use physics, which I do, by the way, Professor McMillan, I always say things like, you know, when the vector and they're really fast, and it's horrible. I cannot use physics examples or engineering. So I use my comfort zone. So if you had a psychology paper, any type of paper, or lab work for physics, you can put in here the due date, the course, and then you're going to break down the task and how long it takes for each task. So this student has written all the steps out to write their their psychology paper. So it's finding those articles, reading, preparing outlines. Maybe the student could have even written in there, go to writing room, attend the writing room, get a writing specialist to review my paper. And then you're going to put the total hours, and the total is about 15 hours. Well, where are you finding 15 hours in your life now to write this paper? So if you are going to start in advance, do this when you get your assignment, and then you can do like each week, you do a couple tasks and cross those off. And last but not least, the Pomodoro Technique. I've been talking about this for a little bit over the summer with some of the incoming first year students, and half say they've heard about it and half haven't. So the Pomodoro Technique is by no means a new technique. It's just one that you can use to get started when studying. feel free to try it out. If you don't like it, that's okay. Don't use it. Try something different. So this is a simple method to balance focus with deliberate breaks. So the Pomodoro, meaning like the little tomato kitchen timer, it's like Italian for the tomato. You don't have to use a kitchen timer. You can use your cell phone timer. You can use lockout browsers. And if you Google Pomodoro Technique timer in YouTube, they actually have a built-in timer where it dings for every 25 minutes and it dings for your breaks. Essentially what this is you plan your tasks out. So if you had like your 1.5 hours study session, what are you doing in that 1.5 hours? You're going to write out, I will study vectors, then I will study other physics related tasks that I cannot think of solid examples for. So then you're going to list all the tasks that you need. And then basically what this says is you study for 25 minutes. You focus on what you're doing, lock your phone out, don't be checking anything like that. You do 25 minutes of focused work, which 25 minutes of focused work is 1 Pomodoro. And then you take a 5-minute break. You're really not supposed to work. You are supposed to let your brain digest, let the information start to soak a little bit into that long-term memory. And then you repeat. And so what this says is if you repeat your Pomodoros, you do your 25 minutes break, 25 minutes break, 25 minutes break. If you do 4 Pomodoros, they say that you can take a longer break. So maybe you're going to take a 30, 40-minute break. But if you are taking that 5-minute break, please don't go to Netflix. Like no one can stop an episode after 5 minutes. So go take a bio break, go for a quick 5-minute walk or grab a snack and then come back and focus. So this is just one technique to stay focused because I think we're going to really need it in that online environment. And that is it for me. So I will stop sharing and I will answer any questions in the chat box. Give me 1 second. Okay. I hope I did not take too long. Okay, there seems to be a lot here, and I apologize, I couldn't view them. Oh, past sessions seem really good place to find new friends and build. Yes, I agree, Osama. Very good advice. Thank you, and Professor McMillan for all the lovely comments and support. Oh, sorry, the chat box just moved because someone was, yeah, so we have a couple procrastinators. I promise you having good time management is gonna really help you out. And I have a few people giving a nice shout out to the Pomodoro Technique. So thank you for that. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them as best I can. The only thing I would say now is like, I kind of agree with what Professor McMillan and Osama were saying, that I think coming into an online environment is scarier than it really is. I felt it too when COVID hit and I was just like, how am I expected to do an online appointment with someone and online workshops? I never did that ever before. Everything was in person. And honestly, we were able to transition all of our programming online and I've had higher numbers. More people are coming to my stuff. So I promise you it's not as scary as it will seem. I know university can seem a little daunting and it's a huge transition, but try to do whatever you can to calm those nerves. And I think by being prepared is what's going to work.